This is AC Starlord, and welcome to my channel, or aka Austin. And like I said, somewhere tonight, I was gonna watch Werewolf by Night, and I did. I know it's probably, by the time you get this, it'll be November the 1st, but it's still Halloween kind of movie after the one day after Halloween. So, Werewolf by Night was a good Marvel special presentation. I want more of this. I want more of this because it was fun. It was a bunch of hunters hunting down a creature. The creature they were hunting down was, if you haven't seen it already, or you probably are going to see it, there's no spoilers, you see in the trailer, it's Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing was the character that they're hunting down. Now, Swamp Thing in this is comic book accurate to a T. Even his powers are comic book accurate to a T. The way he gets rid of people, disintegrates them, and kills them to a T. But everything else in this is different and brand new to me. I do not know much about the rest of the characters. All I know is there's a bunch of hunters hunting down a creature for a bloodstone. The bloodstone belonged to this one person, to this one hunter that hunted over more than one 100 or 200 of monsters, and he died. It was his funeral. All these hunters are coming for. But the opening of this movie, opening of this presentation, where our world, the human world, well, it's still a human world, but in our world we have superheroes. We have like Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man. You get my point. But in this world that Marvel wants to go into is the mystical and magical and dark side of Marvel. There's only creatures, and creatures that people hunt. So we meet a hunter named Jack, and another hunter that's a girl that's part of the person that died. It's a legacy. That's her father. And you see them kind of team up towards this show, presentation, or whatever you want to call it. But essentially, all these hunters are hunting them down. They don't know what they're hunting. They're hunting for a creature. Like I said, the creature was Swamp Thing, and then eventually Jack frees Swamp Thing, and then they find out. The rest of the hunters find out that Jack's a werewolf. Once Jack becomes a werewolf, because the bloodstone turns him into a werewolf. But he's like, I don't transform unless there's a full moon, and the full moon's only like 5 days. Well, she's like, well, that bloodstone can turn you into a werewolf in 5 seconds. That's what happens, and then everyone starts hunting him, and he starts going on a rampage because he's a werewolf. You can't contain a werewolf. For sure, you can't contain a werewolf. So it becomes interesting once he becomes a werewolf, because there's blood in the screen. He starts slashing and killing people on there, like guards, and the person he teams up with, the girl, she kills most of the hunters, but the guards and stuff with little electrical sticks, he starts slashing and killing them all. And there's blood on and there's blood on the camera, like straight up on the camera. And that's the first time I've seen Marvel actually show blood. And this movie, I mean, this presentation is not in color. Well, it is, but not in color until the very end. This whole thing takes place in black and white, like an old creature, monster film. That's what I liked about it. It was like an old creature monster film. And like Wolfman and Frankenstein and Invisible Man and Dracula, that kind of style, black and white. And it was kind of cool and interesting for Marvel. And then that girl gets her bloodstone, and then once she gets the bloodstone, everything turns into color. So she was wearing a bright red leather jacket. So when you have a bright red leather jacket in black and white, it shows permanently really dark. And then you see Jack and Swamp Thing in color. Swamp Thing in black and white, his eyes are gold. But in color, his eyes are bright red, and it was awesome that his eyes are bright red. He's green, obviously, like the Hulk, and brown, a light and dark brown moss on his shoulder. And of course, Jack is just a regular white guy, kind of like, well, I think he's Spanish looking. But you get my point. Kind of like Moon Knight, kind of, where he has a skin tone like Moon Knight actor. But yeah, what's more impressive about this though is that this was directed, and the music was also produced and directed by a composer. So basically, a composer directed this little special, and he also worked on the music for this special. So he did two things. He directed the special presentation, and he made the music for the special presentation. And I'm gonna get the soundtrack eventually. This soundtrack's awesome. It's good for Halloween. It's just good to listen to. It's just a dark, eerie, classic music for a classic presentation, like an old creature film. And I'm just glad that a composer did some directing. They normally don't let composers do directing. They literally don't. The composer just does music. He directs and produces music only. He did both. He directed this film, he directed this presentation, and he produced and directed the music as well, as also directing the film part of it too. And the angles he used for some of the filming is awesome, especially when Jack became a werewolf. The way he had the camera point where he was going from wall to wall, or to guard to guard, and then having blood on the screen, slashing on the screen, like they actually put like fake blood on the camera. If that was in color, I know it'd be a bright red, but that would have been interesting to see, because it was actually dripping off of the camera lens. So, but anyways, that's Werewolf by Night. And yeah, see you in the next video.